Growing up in the traditional village of Ndageni in the mountains of Flagstaff, Eastern Cape, Lillian Cingo felt privileged. Her great-grandfather, King Faku ka Ngqongqoshe, was the last ruling monarch of the Amampondo kingdom, and her family were respected as leaders and teachers. Although she had to walk 25 kilometers to and from the village school she attended as a young girl, unlike many of her childhood friends, she could afford to wear school shoes.
I knew that there were children who didn't have the same opportunities as me. When I went to school, I used to take off my shoes so that I could walk without shoes like other children. Growing in a rural area, there were no white people anyway, there were only missionaries. But when I went then to train, just so horrifying to think that as long as a black person can count the sheep and the cattle for the farmer, then there's no school necessary. So that to me was just so awful.
Nursing was her destiny.
So I grew in an environment like that where there was no selfishness really, where you served and you didn't expect anything. You just did it because it was your role. I did what I loved, what I wanted to do, what I enjoyed.
These awards recognize 3 outstanding medical practitioners for the year 2008. They are Dr. Lillian Cingo.
Today, Dr. Lillian is a world-renowned neuropsychologist. She has won dozens of international awards, including honors from England's late Queen Elizabeth II, and has been selected as one of South Africa's 21 icons. But the accolades, although appreciated, are secondary to a life dedicated to duty. At the age of 85, instead of deservedly resting, Dr. Lillian is a trailblazer, healing and empowering South Africa's rural communities.
I can't go to bed and sleep well knowing the desperate need of people in South Africa, especially in rural communities. You can still do something. You can still share your knowledge. You've got the energy to do it.
From 1956 to 1965, Dr. Lillian practiced nursing. She also had her heart set on studying neurosurgery and psychology.
And I thought, I want to spend my life looking after people like this, where the brain sometimes needs support, but the relatives need to know what has happened to the brain and how they can support their child, their husband, their wife.
But this specialized path was impossible for a black woman in apartheid South Africa. In 1966, she was forced to leave her homeland for Britain. It was there that she married Reginald Hlongwane, the exiled founder of the South African Non-Racial Olympics Committee. In 1969, they bore a son, Jameson Xolani, but later were divorced.
And when I went to get my passport renewed as a South African and was turned down and came out stateless, it was just the most horrendous, unexpected experience. After 5 years, I got a British passport.
Despite a flourishing international career, Dr. Lillian longed for home. Almost 30 years later, with the demise of apartheid, she returned to her rural roots and became one of the drivers of groundbreaking initiatives to fast-track healthcare to rural areas.
Wakey, wakey, vukani, vukani, pillow pepper, rise and shine. The people of rural South Africa await you.
From 1995 to 2008, Dr. Lillian served as the joint manager of the Pillow Pepper Health Train, dubbed the Train of Hope. She spent 9 months of the year aboard the Transnet train as it wound its way through South Africa's most remote areas, delivering personalized, supportive healthcare, including HIV education and research. This was in partnership with a UK-based pioneering NGO called One to One.
There was a reason I had to leave South Africa. There was a reason I had to be in London for all those years, because whatever I learned I was able to bring and use for rural communities in South Africa.
In 2014, One-to-One Africa was established. It has been at the forefront of combating HIV/AIDS, drastically reducing HIV mortality and mother-to-child transmission in the former Transkei area of the Eastern Cape. Dr. Lillian became an esteemed One-to-One Africa board member, helping to heal and empower the rural community sisterhood through her vast experience, practical support, and motherly mentorship. One step at a time.
We went and visited that family. The child is now 1 year, 2 months, and the child was malnourished. If One-to-One had not intervened, the baby would not be there.
Through a groundbreaking initiative called the Mentor Mother Program, One-to-One trains local women as community health workers, first responders, and ambassadors for community empowerment. Daily, these women visit mountainous households in over 30 rural villages on foot, providing home-based healthcare based on the grassroots realities of the communities they serve.
There are no ambulances, and because of the distances people have to travel, One-to-One intervenes there and supports and helps. One of the advantages of One-to-One is the education or sharing information, so that they know more about what's happening, the data, so that everything could be up to date.
Many of the mentor mothers experience their own health challenges. Their approach is not prescriptive, but nurturing. They walk the extra mile alongside their clients,
Succeeding in many ways in improving their lives, making them smile, make them feel important, make them feel valued, validating them. And it was through the efforts, the expertise, and the training that the One-to-One mothers got from One-to-One that baby child is alive.
The mentor mothers also help grow food gardens, and there is now a Mentor Brothers program to support men in the communities served by the mentor mothers.
Men are so emasculated because they cannot support these families, which then creates further problems.
So I cannot change the community if I have not changed it. So I need to change and set the example.
Our role as a One-to-One is to say, let us help Abantu identify the opportunity.
If we don't know what your challenge is, we won't be able to help you.
The mentor mothers supplement and support the Eastern Cape's under-resourced health department, training government health workers in the mentor mother model.
I get so excited when our mentor mothers are now supervising community health workers so that they can work together.
One-to-One has got a very good impact on improving our performances and services, like extended program of immunization. They reach the unreachable areas.
There's an email that came from Umamu Bongi Son and a directive from Dr. Jaka saying all CHWs in Yande must be trained on the One-to-One mental matter.
This is what is needed to make people function the way they really want to function. But here we are again, the waiting, but also the patience on the faces and the smiles as if things are all right. And that makes me feel also that things will be all right. You're doing fantastic work. Thank you so much. Oh, this is so good. I'm very impressed.
Dr. Lillian's favorite one-to-one initiative is the Early Childhood Development Program called Bright Start, which is designed to promote children's cognitive development, especially those children exposed to and affected by HIV/AIDS.
The early childhood development that is going on now is amazing because, again, it encourages the child in cognitive empowerment, in understanding what is going on in the child's life. But for me, it's also the inclusion of the parent. So one-to-one has become a sort of multi-purpose organization that the country needs. It's when I see the faces of South Africans, the faces of young children, and that is what keeps people going. The hope that it will be better. One-to-one connects with the community. With that hope, pushing forward, trying their best to make the best out of everything. And I think I must be part of this because this is brilliant.